Is it better to buy a brand new car or a used car in 2022? That's what we're going to find out. Welcome to Car Corner, where we help you, the consumer, master the process of car buying and car ownership. If you're in the market for a car, there's a good chance you've been wondering whether it makes more sense to buy a brand new car or a used car. In the past, the debate between buying new versus used was pretty evenly divided, but in today's market of the extreme car shortage, that's not exactly the case. In the past, there was a common belief that it wasn't exactly the best decision to buy a brand new car because the moment you drive it off the lot, it immediately depreciates by around 15 to 20%, which means that it can make more sense to buy a lightly used car, something around 1 to 3 years old, which has already taken that severe depreciation hit. Unfortunately though, in today's car market, that logic no longer applies in most cases. The auto industry is suffering from a very severe shortage of cars, which is caused by a global shortage of computer microchips, which is severely limiting car manufacturing around the world. The result of this car shortage is that car prices have gone up substantially, in some cases as much as 30 to 50% when compared to 1 year ago. And in most cases, these huge price increases have happened in the used car market. Now, the prices of brand new cars have increased as well, but usually not to the same extent as used cars in most markets. Now, what this means is that if you're shopping for a used car, particularly a lightly used car that's only around 1 to 3 years old, you might find that you're not actually going to be saving a lot of money when compared to the equivalent brand new car. And in some cases, you might not be saving any money at all and could actually be paying a higher price, which makes absolutely no sense. If you're buying a used car that's say around 2 to 3 years old, you're going to want to save at least 25 to 30% when compared to the equivalent brand new model. But in today's market of the extreme shortage, that's realistically not going to happen in many cases. And if the price of the used car is very close to that of the brand new one, then how exactly does it make any sense to buy used? Used cars are not only older, but they've suffered more wear and tear, are going to be in need of more maintenance and repairs, and they've also lost a good chunk of the warranty that you get with a brand new car. The other major issue with buying any used car right now is because the prices are so overinflated, they're more likely to take a huge depreciation hit when the car shortage is finally over and all the prices come back down to normal. A lot of buyers who are buying any used car that's overinflated by 30 to 40% are going to find themselves in a lot of trouble if they need to sell or trade in their car a few years down the road. This is an especially big problem for those who are financing used cars, because the value of the car is going to be a lot lower than what they owe, which is known as negative equity. Now again, the price of brand new cars has gone up as well, but in most markets, nowhere near to the same extent as used cars have. Although there are many regions where dealers are charging enormous markups on brand new cars, and sometimes extra fees and add-ons, it is possible to still find dealers that are only charging MSRP and sometimes even below that. In the Greater Toronto area, for example, where I help the majority of my clients, I've worked with dealerships for every single car brand that'll sell their entire lineup at or below MSRP with no unnecessary fees. And if you're able to do that, then why would you pay an overinflated price for any used car? With a brand new car, you have the peace of mind of having a full warranty with no wear and tear, and you can also take advantage of lower interest rates for both financing and leasing. And if you are ultimately stuck buying a brand new car that does have a dealer markup or extra fees, at least you have the option to lease the car so that you don't have to worry about depreciation like you would on a used car. At the end of the day, it's just not a great time to be shopping for a car with the extreme car shortage across the market. But if you have to buy a car, there are a lot more arguments to buy a brand new car versus a used one. And just to give you a few examples of how bad the car market currently is, I'm going to go through some of the most extreme examples of overpriced used cars that actually cost more than just ordering a brand new one. The first example is probably not going to be a surprise to many, which is the Kia Telluride. Ever since this popular 3-row SUV hit the market for 2020, it's been selling for crazy high prices. According to iSeeCars.com, a 1-year-old Telluride can cost on average 12.1% higher than a brand new one, which is the equivalent of around $5,500. Imagine paying $5,500 more for a used SUV when compared to a brand new one. It just makes absolutely no sense. Another great example of this are GM's full-sized SUVs and trucks. Now these are pretty expensive vehicles, but even so, according to iSeeCars.com, if you're looking at a 1-year-old Tahoe, Suburban, Silverado, or Sierra, you could expect to pay upwards of 12.9% more when compared to a brand new one. That's the equivalent of paying $9,100 more for a 1-year-old truck versus brand new, which is absolutely crazy. Another really extreme example of this can be seen with Toyota's SUVs and trucks. It's no surprise that Toyota's trucks and SUVs are in incredibly high demand, and when you couple that with the extreme car shortage across the market, some consumers are paying some pretty wild prices for these vehicles. If you're shopping for a 1-year-old Tacoma, for example, you can expect to pay 12.2% more when compared to brand new, which is the equivalent of around $4,500. But as crazy as that is, that's nothing when compared to the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. Ever since the RAV4 was redesigned back in 2019, the hybrid version has been in incredibly high demand, even before the pandemic started. Toyota customers used to have to wait anywhere from 3 to 6 months in order to get a RAV4 hybrid. Now with the extreme car shortage, however, that waiting period can be anywhere from 8 to 12 months long. And the result of that is that the price of used RAV4 hybrids has gone through the roof. If you're shopping for a 1-year-old RAV4 hybrid, you can expect to pay around 14.8% more when compared to brand new, which is the equivalent of around $5,200. And I've actually seen even more extreme examples of that. Some dealers that I've come across are charging over $12,000 more for a used RAV4 hybrid when compared to the equivalent brand new one. As bad as that is, it's not as bad as the next example that I have, which is the Tesla Model 3. Like many electric cars right now, Teslas are in incredibly high demand, and depending on the model that you want to buy, you could be waiting anywhere from a couple of months to almost a year long to buy a brand new one. And the result of that is that the prices of used Teslas have gone through the roof. According to iSeeCars.com, a 1-year-old Model 3 can be 17.8% more expensive than a brand new one, which is the equivalent of $8,300. I'm not sure why anybody would pay a crazy price like that and not just order a brand new one for a lower price and just wait for it to arrive, but there you have it. If you want to see the most extreme examples of price gouging, however, you have to go into the high-end car market and look at examples like the next one on my list, which is the Chevy Corvette. Ever since Chevy redesigned the Corvette for 2020, it has been an enormous hit with extremely long waiting periods to order one. In some cases, customers could be waiting as long as 2 years in order to get a brand new one, which means that the prices of used ones have gone through the roof. On average, the price of a 1-year-old Corvette is around 20.2% higher than brand new, which is the equivalent of over $16,000. And it doesn't take a lot of digging to find examples that are even higher than that. But if you want to see the most extreme example of overinflated prices on used cars, just take a look at the next one on my list, which is the Mercedes G Wagon. This one might not be a surprise to many because the Mercedes G Wagon has long been a very desirable model with extremely limited availability. When the current generation G Wagon hit the market back in 2019, for example, there were rumors that many Mercedes dealers were only selling them to existing G Wagon customers with waiting periods over 2 years long. With a situation like that, it's no surprise that used G Wagons are selling for some pretty crazy numbers. According to iSeeCars.com, a 1-year-old G Wagon is up to 35% more than brand new, which is the equivalent of $63,000. Now, I've actually come across far more extreme examples than that, and in some cases, Mercedes dealers could be marking up G Wagons by as much as $200,000. Now that's pretty insane, but hey, I guess if you have that kind of money to blow, then more power to you. For the majority of us, however, it just doesn't make sense to buy a lightly used car right now, not unless you're able to save yourself at least 20% when compared to a brand new one. If you're able to do it, the best option for many is just to buy a brand new car at MSRP and wait for it to arrive. It might take anywhere from 3 to 12 months for your car to arrive, depending on what you want to buy, but at least you're not going to be paying an overinflated price. But if you don't need to buy a car at all, then an even better option is just to wait until the car shortage is over. Eventually, the prices of used cars are going to come back down to earth and there are going to be some amazing deals to be had. So until that time comes, just sit tight and wait. So based on this information, would you buy a brand new or used car right now? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. You can also take a look at some of my other car videos by checking out these links over here. Make sure to follow me on TikTok and Instagram. And if you need any additional car buying advice, recommendations, or help with getting a great deal on your next new car purchase, you can check out carhelpcanada.com. Thanks so much for watching and see you next time.